Tonight on KGW News, the Northwest institution that appears to be struggling.
Very local to the neighborhood, grew up coming here a lot.
What KGW investigators have uncovered when it comes to Sherry's bottom line. Plus, what a Portland middle school teacher accused of luring a child online allegedly told police about his conversations. But first, thieves rip off a Portland grocery store.
I mean, for a small business, it's really hard.
What they were after and how customers have already helped this business bounce back. A very good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm David Mulco. That store in Northeast Portland is now looking at replacing its entire refrigeration unit, a bill that could soar toward $15,000. Alma McCarty has our top story.
Along Northeast Halsey,
anything that is not vegan can be made vegan, and we have a version of it here.
All kinds of options line the shelves at Food Fight Grocery. But right now, many of them inside the refrigerator sit empty.
We were able to move some things. We didn't lose absolutely everything, but we did lose some products.
Owner Beth Sullivan explains why.
Early Friday morning, someone vandalized it and took all of the copper and aluminum out of the refrigeration unit on the outside and basically just took the entire unit. So it can't be repaired, it has to be replaced.
Although she's dealt with other vandalism, break-ins, and the like over the last couple of years, it didn't occur to her that thieves would go after the equipment behind the store.
They cut the pipe there and that entire unit's gone. They had started on the freezer as well, but something must have spooked them. So I'm grateful that that didn't happen, but we're also kind of in a rush to get a fence up to protect it.
The cost of a new unit plus security measures estimated at around $15,000.
And for a small business, it's really hard. You know, we're getting by. We're paying the bills and we're paying our employees, and that's it. You know, I don't make a paycheck.
The silver lining to this situation, Sullivan says, the loyal customers who immediately jumped in to help after she posted about it on social media.
Like, hey, come buy our cold things while they're still cold. And everybody came out in droves on Friday. That was great. It was our largest sale day since we took over ownership of the store. I think we had probably around 150 transactions in that day, which is a lot for us.
Sullivan's hoping to have everything up and running once again by the end of the week.
And Sullivan's also just really grateful to the people who have pitched in over on GoFundMe. They are going to run it through insurance, but still expect there to be a pretty big deductible. She says any amount will help, and we'll have a link to that on KGW.com. David?
Yeah, so good to see the community helping out when she put out that call. Thank you, Alma. Well, meanwhile, this comes as Portland Police's property crimes detectives have been transferred to other units, meaning they'll no longer exclusively work on cases like retail theft. OPB first reported on the change last month, though police say this does not mean they'll stop investigating retail theft. Instead, those cases will be assigned to a detective at each of the 3 precincts.
It has a trickling effect for sure. It doesn't just affect, big box retailers. It's going to affect the small businesses as well.
So when you're passionate, you love what you do, you want to share it with the community, and then you get hit and you get hit and you hit and you're like, how long can this ship keep sailing?
Well, according to the police crime dashboard, burglaries in general have gone down about 4,800 from July of 2023 to July of this year. That's about 1,300 less than the same period from 1 year earlier. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, Clark County Sheriff's deputies are looking for the people who exchanged gunfire in a busy shopping center parking lot. This was around 6:15 last night at Hazeldale Crossing, just off I-5 and 78th. Witnesses reported people in a white Chrysler and a dark Volkswagen firing 10 to 12 gunshots at each other before both took off. No one was shot, but a bullet hit another vehicle in that parking lot. A Portland public school teacher charged with luring a minor pleaded not guilty in court this afternoon. Craig Douglas Myers is accused of starting a conversation online with a detective who police say he thought was a 13-year-old girl. The detective says the messages became sexually explicit. Portland police say once they arrested him, Douglas Myers admitted to sending the messages, told them he chats when he gets stressed, and said it's, quote, just pretend. Douglas Myers is currently on paid leave from his job as a math teacher at Hosford Middle School. And a man has died after a house fire broke out early this morning in southeast Portland. This was just before 3:30 on southeast Flavel near 76. That's in the Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood. Firefighters reported seeing large flames coming from the home. Investigators are working to figure out what sparked it. The victim's name has not yet been released. Well, hearings got underway in federal court in Portland today with regulators looking to block a supermarket mega merger between Kroger and Albertsons. Blair Best has the update.
Two of the largest grocery store chains, Kroger and Albertsons, are looking to merge. They were in court Monday defending the plan against the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, that's looking to block it. The FTC filed a lawsuit against the merger in Oregon back in February.
This day has been a long time coming.
The $24 billion deal, the largest proposed merger in U.S. history, has been in the works for years. The chains first made the announcement back in October of 2022, saying a merger would lower prices and help them compete with larger stores like Walmart. Many employees aren't sold and protested outside the courthouse Monday morning.
Enough is enough. We can no longer stand by and allow corporate greed that puts profit before people.
The FTC is arguing the merger would eliminate competition, increase prices, and lower employee wages.
Already, Americans pay too high of grocery prices, and if competition is removed from this merger, then the prices could go even higher.
It's going to be real trouble because a lot of us are on fixed incomes and we just can't afford higher prices right now.
If the deal goes through, Kroger and Albertsons have already said they'll sell dozens of Safeway, Albertsons, and QFC stores in Oregon and Washington.
It's very confusing. The only thing I'm really concerned about is closing stores that are close to us, especially those that are disabled and having a hard time walking.
It's now up to a federal judge to decide whether or not to grant the FTC's request for a delay as they continue to fight the merger.
What we're focused on right now is winning this case and getting the PI so that we can move forward with our in-house court to challenge the merger in full.
Blair Best, KGW News.
Well, in a statement, Kroger says the merger will help secure union jobs. We expect a decision in this case could take at least another 3 weeks. All right, let's talk about the election where Clark County officials will start hand recounting ballots tomorrow in the race for Washington's Public Lands Commissioner. This month's primary came down to a 51-vote margin between the second and third place finishers, Democrat Dan Upthegrove and Republican Sue Keel Peterson. That triggered an automatic statewide recount. Clark County alone has 137,000 ballots to go through. They start sorting them over the weekend. Election officials in King County, who are going through the same thing, say they are making sure not to rush.
We are making sure to emphasize with our teams that it is not a race today. This recount is not a race. We want to make sure that it's done and it's done correctly, and that's going to take human beings some time to do.
The recount is not a race. The second place finisher is going to face Republican and former Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler in November. I like the A+ there. It's back to school for thousands of students in Oregon's biggest school district, Portland, following Beaverton, who went back today with a big change for high schoolers, who will now start an hour later at 8:45. This aligns with research that says teenagers perform better later in the morning.
Waking myself up and trying to stay awake the whole class period was so hard.
Getting a little more sleep, starting school a little bit later means they're ready to learn when they get here.
Yeah, we hear you. Other districts like Evergreen and Vancouver have made similar schedule shifts. The change in Beaverton also means younger kids will start a bit earlier, so buses can stay on schedule. That earlier start time isn't expected to impact learning. You're watching KGW News, and straight ahead on this Monday, KGW investigates the financial troubles at Sherry's that appear to be stacking up faster than the fluffy buttermilk pancakes. Plus, details on the major landslide that hit an Alaska tourist hotspot.
And David, the start of the last week of August was pretty warm out there. We topped out in the mid to the upper 80s in a few locations. 86 was the official high at PDX. Right now, we're looking at a temperature of 68 degrees. For tomorrow, there's going to be a little bit of a hiccup in the morning hour, just a slight chance for some spotty showers. But heading into the afternoon, we'll be seeing a lot of sunshine and very pleasant conditions. Although it's going to be cool tomorrow, I am forecasting some hot conditions heading into the later part of the week. I'll have the details coming up in just a few minutes.